Well, hello everybody and welcome to Vinyl Treasures. I'm your host, Johnny G, John Galindo, coming to you live each and every Saturday only here on Top Shelf Oldies. Did I say 12 to midnight? What did I say, 10 to midnight? No, it's 10 to 1 a.m. here on Top Shelf Oldies. I apologize for being late, but I had a week from hell. As I mentioned last week, I knew it was going to be bad when I worked 68 hours from Sunday noon till, I think it was Wednesday till about 6 o'clock, and then a meeting at 8 o'clock. So that's a lot of time. And I had a holiday there, the Martin Luther King holiday on Monday, which I'm supposed to get off. They said they'll replace that, but I was burnt out. So I am so much looking forward to playing 45s for you guys tonight. And we opened up with tenor sax man Red Prysock. Red Prysock, his 6th of 21 releases on the Mercury record label there. It used to be Roy Adams' theme song. Used to listen to Roy Adams early 70s, I think, when he used to be on WHBI FM 105.9. I think that the time slots changed quite a bit. I had to actually go back and I went back to get one of my old Bim Bam Boom magazines. They're pretty cool, by the way. And this has they have a thing called, this Bim Bam Boom is from October, November 1971, Volume 1, Issue 2. And these are the harp tones on the front cover. And I said, they got to have a thing about the radio. And the top show at the time is the Time Capsule Show. It says Tom Luciani and Joe Marchesani, WFUV. It says in New York, and WRTI-FM in Philly, soon to be on WAMN. But the time is weird. It says 4 to 5 p.m. in New York on Saturday, and then 8 to 10 in Philly. Then they have the Gus Gossard Show on WPIX. That's when I was listening to Gus on 101.9. He was on Saturday from 6 to 12. And then he was on Sunday from 5 to 11. And it's the curly-headed kid in the second row. Then they list Little Walter, who just recently passed away from COVID. Little Walter's Time Machine and GTO shows. They have the Jim Pewter Show. I don't think I ever listened. That's in Los Angeles. And they have Ray Adams, but it's really Roy Adams. And he was on Friday night at 1:05 a.m. to 3 a.m. Boy, I have to stay up late to do that. Anyway, Johnny G's here from 10 to 1 a.m. playing original vinyl 45s. We open up with a cool one there, September 55 release for Red Prysock on Mercury, a song entitled Hand Clappin'. So let's open up the vocal portion now. With a group from Newark, New Jersey. They had 4 releases on Bobby Robinson's Fury record label. This is their second. Features Pearl McKinnon on lead. This was a number 28 record on WINS here in New York City. This one from May 1958. Give a listen to the Kodaks. The Kodaks with Pearl McKinnon on lead on the Fury label. It's called OG. Oh Gosh.
Won't you tell me what you think of?
I want you to love me. There's no one above me. Love me the way you love me best. I will hold and squeeze you tight, morning, afternoon, and night. Loving you will be my happiness. All my love is yours to take. Kisses taste like angel cake. Hope my kisses taste as good to you. Almost made me lose my mind. Still help me forever.
We open up the vocal portion there with Pearl McKinnon. Pearl McKinnon and the Kodaks, May 1958 release on Bobby Robinson's Fury record label. Oh Gosh is the name of that one. I first heard that on the Gus Gossard show. Used to play the Kodaks quite a bit. The other one was Run Around Baby. I think he played that quite a bit also. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. I spin original vinyl 45s out of my collection. We got a bonus Saturday here for 1950s and early 60s records. Next week's the last Saturday of the month. It's my all 60s show. That's going to drive Charlene crazy. It does. But up next, a singer originally from Albany, New York, but later relocated to Newark, New Jersey. This was his debut single. Came out on Hiram Johnson's Johnson label. It's a song he wrote from November 1957. Johnson Records. Give a listen to Bird Rollins. Bird Rollins on Johnson. It's called Pretty Little Schoolgirl.
Pretty little schoolgirl, won't you come and run away with me? Pretty little schoolgirl, won't you come and run away with me? I'll carry your books and keep you company. I'll take a big lunch basket and 10 pounds of jelly beans, and we'll have the sweetest time that you have ever seen. Oh, pretty little schoolgirl, won't you come and run away with me? I'll carry your books and keep you company. I'll take some soda pop and some ice cream too, and you'll do all the things that all the school kids do. Oh, come and run away with me. I'll carry your books and keep you company. Basket and 10 pounds of jelly beans, and you'll have the sweetest time that you have ever seen. Oh, pretty little schoolgirl, won't you come and run away with me? I'll carry your books and keep you company. I'll take a bag of Kool-Aid and some sugar too, and I'll make that Kool-Aid just as sweet as you. Oh, schoolgirl, won't you come and run away with me? You'll have the sweetest time that you have ever seen. Pretty little schoolgirl, won't you come and run away with me? Pretty little schoolgirl, won't you come and run away with me? You'll have the sweetest time that you have ever seen. Oh yeah, oh yeah, you and me.
That's a frantic tune, to say the least there. Bird Rollins and a group. Don't know who the group is, but there's some group backing them up on that. November 1957 on the Johnson label. Pretty Little Schoolgirl is the name of that one. Interesting thing about this Johnson release is that this one and the following release on Johnson, which is by the Shells, it's called Pleading No More. George Goldner became involved, probably worked out a deal with Hiram Johnson, and pressed this up for Goldner pressed this up for him, and used the same publishing, Real Gone Music, and the Matrix numbers. So you know how these record owners, they kind of played games with all their labels. Somebody owed them a favor, etc. But that's what happened with that record. Johnny G here, spinning original vinyl 45s. Excuse me. We count down the music chronologically here on the 50s and early 60s show. We're going to go back for an early sound here from January 1951, before I was born. But this next group started recording even prior to that, back to 1946 for the Hub label. Then releases followed on National and King and Columbia and OK and Mercury and Jubilee and other labels too. Now, the group had many lead singers through the years: Leonard Pusey, Jimmy Ricks, Maith Marshall, Joe Van Loan. Do you know who I'm talking about now? You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about the Ravens. Now, here's their third of 5 they did on the Columbia label. And Maith Marshall, he is on lead for this one. And then you'll hear the bass of the group, Jimmy Ricks. He will also come in. But I like this song here from January 1951, The Ravens on Columbia, when Columbia was pressing those nice, great, hard vinyl presses. The Ravens with You Don't Have to Drop a Heart to Break It.
You don't have to drop a heart to break it. You can break it with an unkind word or two. You don't have to see it fall like Humpty Dumpty off the wall. You can break it when you make it sad and blue. You promised that you would always love me. You broke that promise when you told that lie. You don't have to drop a heart to break it, 'cause you broke mine the night you said goodbye. No, you don't have to drop a heart to break it.
You can break it with an unkind word or two. You don't have to see it fall like Humpty Dumpty off the wall. You can break it when you make it sad and blue.
Oh, you promised you would always love me, love me.
Well, you broke that promise when you told a lie.
No, you don't have to drop a heart to break it, 'cause you broke mine the night you said goodbye. On the night you said goodbye to me.
The night you said goodbye.
Yeah, those are the Ravens. The Ravens. When was the last time you heard a Ravens 45 here on the Vinyl Trailer Show? I don't play them much, but I have all their 45s I do, and 78s. Not all of them. They got a lot of 78s, they do. That one there from January 1951, The Ravens. The Ravens on the Columbia label, Maith Marshall on lead. You don't have to drop a heart to break it. Very interesting lyric. Johnny G here, spinning original vinyl 45s. We move into 1952 with a request for Rick in Philly. I found your request this week, Rick, and one more. You get a bonus one that I found. But some of you are probably more familiar with the cover of this song that was done by the Johnny Burnett Trio on the Coral label in 1956, but it was originally done by this band leader from Youngstown, Ohio. And Red Prysock, who we heard earlier when I opened up with hand clapping, he played tenor sax on this session. It's on Sid Nathan's King record label. I have this, I think it's green vinyl. I don't know if it's green or bluish or what, but it is. And it was interesting how I got this record, because somebody was selling Eternally on green vinyl a while back. It was maybe about 7 or 8 years. And he goes, "Do you collect other records on the King label?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, I have a color wax by Tiny Bradshaw. Are you interested?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm interested." He says, "You can have it for, $200. It's a nice mint copy." I says, "Okay, I'll take it." Tack that on to the Eternally with the Swallows. And that's how I got this record. Anyway, it's going out to Rick in Philly from February 52. Tiny Bradshaw on King. It's called The Train kept a rollin'.
Oh, what a girl. Oh,
I messed that up there. Hold on. There you go.
Whoa, Batu Day. Oh, what a girl. Oh, Batu Day. Oh, what a girl. Boudao. Boudao. Boudet. Boudet. A Batu Day. Oh, what a girl. I off the train. I met a real dame. She was a hipster and a gone dame. She was pretty from New York City. And she trucked on down the old fair lane with a heave and a hoe. And I just couldn't let her go. So get along, sweet little woman, get along. Better be on your way, get along. Sweet little woman, get along. Better be on your way with a heave and a hoe. And I just couldn't let her go. Yes, the train kept rolling all night long. Yeah, the train kept rolling all night long. Oh, the train kept rolling all night long. The train kept rolling all night long. Oh, the train kept rolling all night long. And I still wouldn't let her go. Must have thought I was a real gone jerk. We got off the train at El Paso. Her lover was so fine, Jack, I couldn't let her go. Get along, sweet little woman, get along. Better be on your way, get along. Sweet little woman, get along. Better be on your way with a heave and a hoe. And I sure couldn't let her go. Yeah, the train kept rolling all night long. Oh, the train kept rolling all night long. The train kept rolling all night long. Yeah, the train kept rolling all night long. The train kept rolling all night long. And I still wouldn't let her go.
That's the original version of The Train Kept a Rollin', February 1952, released on Sid Nathan's King record label Tiny Bradshaw. It's going out to Rick in Philly. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Here's a request for listener Marvin Pod as we head to Pasadena, California. This jazz trumpeter, band leader, singer from Dyersburg, Tennessee, had 2 releases on the Kicks label. This is his first with an uncredited group. We go to November of 1954. On the Kicks label, it's Walter Fuller with the Club Royale Band. Going out to Marvin, it's called Closer to My Heart.
Closer, closer to my heart. You grow closer to my heart. Since we've been apart, I think of you each day. Although they say it all happened for the best, now I found my mistake. So please come back to me. Every night and day I pray that you'll come back to stay, and the love we used to know will find its way closer, closer to my heart. More and more in love each day. that soon you'll be closer, closer to me. Every night and day I pray that you'll come back to stay, and the love we used to know will find its way more and more in love. Closer, closer to my heart. I hope that soon you'll be closer, closer to me.
As by request for Marvin Pod there, Walter Fuller, maybe the Stylers, Daryl, maybe you're right. Maybe it's the Stylers backing them up. November 1954 on the Kicks record label, Closer to My Heart. Now, I wonder what that record's listed in Marvin Pod's price guide. As Marvin has a new book that's available. It's called the R&B and Doo-wop Vocal Group Recordings on 45 RPM from 1949 to 1965. Information and price guide. It's 2 volumes with artist listings in alphabetical order, different from the Kreider book. It's alphabetical. Kreider listed his records by label. This is by artist, and it's by group. It's not. It's like, so if you were looking for Danny and the Juniors, you'd have to go to Juniors to look up all the Danny and the Juniors releases, and it's volume 1 is like 590 pages and volume 2 is 589 pages. It's 2 big volumes. The books are pretty big. So, and there's lots of information. There's an appendix that has some cool information like uncredited groups on certain releases. Another appendix is lead singers and whom they sang with. And there's another one there, plus other information. He gives you some of the lead singers on a lot of the groups, etc. So you should check it out. It's available on Amazon. It's a new book that it came out. I know some of the listeners have purchased it already, but you can check it out on Amazon, and got to check what that record is in his book. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Let's continue here now. Last week I played a request for George Tompkins by the Prestos, aka the Empires. It was called Till We Meet Again. It featured the lead of Bobby Dunn on that side, but let's give a listen to the flip side here before I file this one back down in the No Humidity basement. This side features John Barnes on lead. We go to November of 1955 for the Prestos. The Prestos on the Mercury label. It's called Lookin' for Love.
Baby, baby, I'm looking for love. I'm looking for love. I'm looking for love. I'm looking for love. Looking for love. I'm looking for love, 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 love. Old time love, just like my father had, baby. Baby, I'm looking for love. Come help me find love. Come help me find love. Come help me find love. I'm looking for love. I'm looking for love, 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 love. Old time love, just like my father had, baby. Baby, I'm looking for love. I want a love that'll make you treat me right. A love that'll keep me home at night. I want a love that will not fade. You gotta love me, baby, now be your slave. Baby, baby, I'm looking for love. Now I don't want no jack time chick taking my money, trying to be slick. Now listen to me, baby, it's plain to see. You gotta love me, baby, or let me be. Baby, baby, I'm looking for love, looking for love.
That one there from November 1955. Those are the Prestos, a.k.a. the Empires, on the Mercury record label. Looking for Love featured John Barnes on lead for that one. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, lots of requests, as we have lots of requests to fill tonight. Here's one for Joe Shacatano. This Cincinnati, Ohio group had over 50 releases on Sid Nathan's Deluxe and King labels. Now, Joe requested the group's 13th release for Deluxe, and the tune written by the lead singer. His name is Otis Williams. We go back to May 1955 for The Charms. Otis Williams and The Charms on Deluxe. It's called One Fine Day. Going out to Joe.
One fine day, you went away, my tears led me astray. Weep for me, my love, one fine day. Stars up above remind me of love as I stroll along to find some way dear to make you come here, be with me evermore. One fine day you will return. No more, darling, will I ever yearn for a love like ours will always burn till one fine day.
That's the great Otis Williams and The Charms by request for Joe Shacatano there. The May 1955 release, that's their 13th of 50 releases. You need a big box if you collect the charms on Deluxe and King. One Fine Day is the name of that one. We continue here. We are in the year 1955. Now, on last week's Vinyl Treasure Show, I played a request for Young Evan Blatt by the Dreamers, a group out of Philadelphia, PA. Their second overall release, it came out on the Rollin' label, a song entitled Melba. Now, his listener Daryl Letts requested the flip side. It features Kent Peeler on lead. We are in the year 1955. This is on the Rollin' label. These are the Dreamers. It's called No Man is an Island. Sounds of 1955 here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are the Dreamers. The Dreamers with Kent Peeler on lead. I always thought that was a gal singing on that, but no. That is a guy with a very high falsetto voice, probably a young, a preteen maybe, or maybe 12 or 13 years old at the time. But in 1957, Kent Peeler would join the Universals on the Mark X label. You know the song. It's called Again. He's on lead on that one. I think another group also. Johnny G here, spinning my original vinyl. One more record in the year 1955 as we head out to Los Angeles, California. This is a request for George Tompkins. Now, this singer first recorded this very song in 1948 for the Jewel record label. Then he re-recorded it in 1955 on the Million label with a vocal group. They're known as the Ebtones. This is by request for George Tompkins, April 1955. Give a listen to Dan Grissom and the Ebtones on the Million label. It's called Recess in Heaven.
There must be a recess in heaven. An angel just came into sight. She smiled and I said, seems I know you. I dream first glance I thought I was dreaming. I've seen you so often in dreams. There must be a recess in heaven. Oh, you are an angel, it seems, and you're the very girl I dreamed of. My dreams have come true, but I never thought I'd find love with an angel like you. Now I'm sure this recess in heaven will go on for many years, for you have just told me you love me, my angel, my darling, my dear, and you're the very girl I dreamed of. My dreams have come true, but I never thought I'd find love with an angel like you. Now I'm sure this recess in heaven will go on for many years, for you have just told me you love me, my angel, my darling, my dear.
As by request for Joe Tompkins there, Dan Grissom and the Ebbtones, April 1955 release. That's the first of two he had on the Million label, Recess in Heaven. As I hope you're digging on the cool tunes tonight. Let's continue here. Now, last week I played a request for Matey Campboy. She requested a classic New York City sound from 1956 by Earl Lewis and the Channels. Their debut single came out on Bobby Robinson's Whirling Disc record label. It was called The Closer You Are. That was a 45 that my Aunt Mary purchased back in the summer of 1956. And like my aunt, I flip over the 45s. You collectors out there, you have to flip over your 45s. You can't flip over your MP3s but you can, and your CDs, but you can flip over your 45s. And she would always play both sides of her records, unless it, she didn't like it. But normally, lots of the 50s records were both sides were great, believe it or not. But that's all. But I tell you collectors to do that, so play your flips. But this is a great jump. August 1956, The Channels with Earl Lewis on lead. It's on the Whirling Disc record label. It's called Now You Know, parentheses, I Love You So.
I got to have you.
never, never let you go. No, now you know how much I love you. I'll never play no one above you. I need you so. I'll never let you go. Well, now you know I need you so. I love you, my dear, and I never, 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 never let you go. No, now you know I'll always love you. I'll never play no one above you. I need you so. I'll never let you go.
B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Johnny G going crazy there. That's a cool B-side there. I love that song. Never get tired of that record. I don't. August 1956, the Channels, Earl Lewis and the Channels on the Whirling Disc record label. Now You Know, parentheses, I Love You So. Do you know that The Closer You Are is a 3-minute record? How many 3-minute records do you know from 1956? Not many. Not many, but I wonder how that 78 plays. 3 minutes on a 78. That's not a lot of. You don't get a lot of room for that with those wide grooves. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We are in the year 1956. I'm sure many of you are familiar with a group called the Love Notes. They have 3 releases on the Holiday record label. You know their biggest hit was a song called United, came out in 1957. The lead singer for that group was Johnny Hicks, but prior to recording as the Love Notes, they were known as the Ivories, and this was their release on George Bennett's Jaguar record label. Johnny Hicks again on leave. This is early 1956. These are the Ivories on the Jaguar label, and it's called Alone.
Will there be a bright tomorrow, or will I be alone? Will I spend my days in sadness? You could fill my life with gladness, or will I be alone? You mean so much to me. Oh, you are so heavenly. Well, now that I need you so, don't ever, baby, please don't go. How can I go on without you? Let me put my without you? Or will I be alone?
Early 1956 release there for the Ivories. Johnny Hicks on lead. The Ivories on the Jaguar label, song entitled Alone. Now, the thing about this record, initially it came out on Jaguar 3017. Label owner he wasn't happy with how that record came out, so the group went back into the studio and re-recorded both sides of the record, and came out a second time again on Jaguar 3023. And I have that one I've played was on 3023. I don't have the 3017. I can't find a copy of it. I can't find it anywhere. But the tune written by Sylvester Bradford, he was in a number of groups, and he also was a great songwriter. He also played piano on that record, and he arranged the song. Johnny G here, spinning original vinyl 45s here. And up next, a rare girl group sound requested by listener Daniel Kubacki. This came out on Jerry Winston's Onyx record label. It's Onyx 502. The song is written by Esther Whitaker, and I would bet all my money that she's on lead. That's just a hunch. So by request for Daniel, July 1956, they're called the Joyettes. The Joyettes on the Onyx label. It's called Story of Love.
Charms and enfold you, and then break your poor heart in two. He'll make you cry your heart out night after night, and then he will implore you to say it's alright. That's the story. That's the story of love. The story of love. Do-wop, 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 do-wop,
Rare girl group sounds by request there for Daniel Kubacki. Those are the Joyettes. Joyettes, July 1956. Sammy Lowe and the orchestra there on Jerry Winston's Onyx record label out of New York City. Story of Love is the name of that one. We continue here in 1956. Now, last week I played a request for Joe Shacatano, a group called The Chimes out of Los Angeles, California, their second release on Art Roop's specialty label. The song was called Pretty Little Girl. It was listener Darrell Letts requested the flip side. Again, it features Horace Wooten on lead. He also wrote the tune. This one from April 1956. Going out to Darrell, this West Coast Chimes here on Specialty Records. It's called Chop Chop.
Well, the chop chop boom boom ooh you so
Chop chop boom boom ooh you so chop chop boom boom ooh you so chop chop boom boom ooh you so boom boom boom. Oh, diamonds on her fingers, shiny little nose. She reminds me of a pretty rose. That's my chop chop. I love her so. Oh yeah. Well, my dear, I love you. I put no one above you. You chop chop. I love you so. I want you, pretty baby. I want you by my side. I need you, pretty baby. Ooh, baby. 'Cause I love you, oh so. Oh boy, she's so sweet to me. She's the way all girls ought to be. That's the chop chop. I love you so. Oh yeah. Hey. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Ooh, baby. Hey. Oh. Yeah. Well. Oh, diamonds on her fingers, shiny little nose. She reminds me of a pretty rose. That's a chop chop. I love her so. Oh yeah. Well, my dear, I love you. I put no one above you. You're my chop chop. I love you so. Oh, I want you, pretty baby. Yeah, baby. I want you by my side. I need you, pretty baby. Baby. 'Cause I love you, oh so. Oh boy, she's so sweet to me. She's the way all girls ought to be. That's my chop chop. I love her so. Well, that's why I love her so.
As by request for Darrell there, The Chimes with Horace Wooten on lead. That's the second of two on the specialty record label, April 1956. I think that was a hit in Los Angeles, if I'm not mistaken, or mild R&B hit, Chop Chop, on the specialty record label. I have that on a nice 78, and it's actually memories of the Time Capsule show. That 78 belonged to... Who was selling their 78s, George? I forget, but at least I can say I do have some records that were played on the Time Capsule show. I mean, the original Time Capsule show. Anyway, Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We continue here. Another side I played last week was by the Marvels for Reed King. He requested the Marvels, a.k.a. the Dubs. Played the jump side. It was called Jump, Rock, and Roll, but Reed also requested the flip. It features Richard Blandon on lead, so this is by request for Reed, November 1956. These are the Marvels, a.k.a. they would later on record as the Dubs, but this is on ABC Paramount Records. It's called I Won't Have You Breaking My Heart.
I'd cry for you, sigh for you. I'd even go as far as to die for you, but I won't have you breaking my heart. I'd live the life of a
As by request for Reed King there, those are the Marvels. The Marvels there with Richard Blandon on lead, November 1956. I Won't Have You Breaking My Heart. I have that on a promo, the white promo. That does exist on a stock copy, by the way, which is harder to find than the promo copy. So those go for a little bit more. And the group would record as the Dubs. You know the song, You Don't Ask Me to Be Lonely, first came out on the Johnson label, then sold to George Gollner, released on the Gone label, where it kind of became a New York hit. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening spinning original vinyl. We continue here, and up next, a request. Actually, I should say, last week I played a request for Rick and Philly on Henry Stone's Chart label, Chart Records out of Miami, Florida, and I guess the group is also. They were called the True Tones, TRU-TONES, and Rick requested the B-side of the 45, a song entitled Tears in My Eyes, which actually was a cover of the Dreamers tune. But let's give a spin to the intended A-side before this one goes back down in the No Humidity basement, and it features Howard Patton on lead. This is one of the theme songs that DJ record collector Ronnie I would use in one of his shows. I forget which one, but that's where I first heard it. This one from December 58, the True Tones. I'm sorry, December 56, the True Tones on the Chart label. It's called Magic.
Magic, loving you is magic. Leaving you would be tragic. You got a spell on me. Focus, you throw my heart out of focus. Then you try hocus pocus. Don't ever set me free. Lips as tender as yours should be mine as a miracle. Arms that warm so free should be holding your love tenderly, tenderly. Magic, loving you is magic. Leaving you would be tragic. You hold the magic. So free, should be holding your love tenderly, tenderly. Magic, loving you is magic. Leaving you would be tragic. You hold the magic key.
Oops, that had a cold ending on that 45. It did, but that's a cool tune. Those are the True Tones. The True Tones, December 1956, release on the Chart record label, Henry Stone's Chart Records. Magic is the name of that tune. How many titles of 1950s? Actually, magic, a very popular word in lots of songs. Let's continue here. Back out to California we go for a request for Daniel Kubacki. It's on Dootsy Williams' Doo-Tone record label. This group is out of Oakland, California, and this is their second release on Doo-Tone, and it's the intended B-side. Now, Dootsy Williams calls this a rhythm novelty. Song was written by Henry Roundtree. He's also the lead singer on this. So going out to Daniel here, July 1956. The group is called The Pipes. The Pipes on Doo-Tone. It's called I Love the Life I Live.
you got to give. You got to give. I live and I love and I love the life I live. Hey, I live and I love and I love the life I live. Well, if you want me, baby, this is what you got to give. You got to give. You got to give me all your loving. I'll make it lovey-dovey. You got to be real true to me. Cause if you want me, baby, and I don't mean no maybe, you got to be real true to me. Cause I love you, baby, that you can plainly see, plainly see. I'll make it lovey-dovey. Got to be real true to me. Cause if you want me, baby, and I don't mean no maybe, you got to be real true to me. Cause I love you, baby, that you can plainly see, plainly see. I live and I love and I love the life I live. I live and I love and I love the life I live. Well, if you want me, baby, this is what you got to give. You got to give. Oh, this is what you got to give. Yeah. Oh, this is what you got to give. Oh, this is what you got to give. Oh, this is what you got to give. But if you want me, baby, this is what you got to give. You got to give.
B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show by request for Daniel Kubacki, The Pipes. The Pipes with Henry Roundtree on lead, July 1956. That's their second release on the Dutone label. I Love the Life I Live. That's a hard record. Usually you'll find Be Fair. That one turns up, but this one does not turn up. I was lucky to get that. This record, I think I paid $60 for this many, many years ago when I first signed on to eBay. Somebody in California had this record. Nice copy, too, and not easy to find. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We continue here. Here's another flip side from last week, requested by Daryl Letts. Actually, I opened up last week's show with a group called the Copacetics, a duet out of Harlem, duet gals out of Harlem, New York. They were Betty Ann Williams and Rosetta Brown, but what was the side? Collegian was the side I played. I forgot to mention that. But here's the flip side going out to Daryl. Another cool jump came out on Joe Leibowitz's premium record label out of Linden, New Jersey. This one from November 56, the Copacetics on premium. It's called Believe in Me.
Oh, biblio, wop wop, oh, biblio, wop wop, oh, biblio, wop wop, oh. Now, believe in me, for I am yours alone, and I will never let you go. 'Cause I love you so, my love, I love you so. Now, please trust in me, for I am yours alone, and I will never let you go. 'Cause I love you so, my love, I love you so. Now, well, I love you, and I need you. Please say you're mine all the time. Believe in me, I am yours alone, and I will never let you go. 'Cause I love you so, my love, I love you so. Now,
November 56 there. They're called the Copacetics. On the premium record label, Believe in Me is the name of that one. I like both sides of that record, always did. Joe Leibowitz, he was the label owner. It was funny, he suffered a heart attack, died from the heart attack. The label just went kaput. That was it. The end of the label. There was nobody there that could fill in. That was a label that ended, unfortunately, I think in 1957, if I'm not mistaken, or later in 57, maybe early 58. Anyways, we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We move into 1957 with a group from Brooklyn, New York, and it's on the Peak label, one of the many groups managed by bandleader Al Brown, involved in finding groups and labels and producing and writing. But this is the intended B-side, but an excellent ballad. It features Sonny Eugene on lead. Let's send this one out to Daniel Kubacki. He discovered this record. It's a great tune. July 1957. They're called the Starlights. The Starlights on the Peak label. It says Peak tops them all. The song is called Missing You.
You've got me missing you, missing the joy of kissing you. Wonder what boy is about to do the things I used to do. Asking everyone in town, how and where can you be found? You got me missing you. I tried to play it fair. Whoa, whoa, darling.
That's a cool tune. They're going out to Daniel Kubacki there. The Starlights. The Starlights, July 1957, on the Peak label. Peak tops them all. What a great logo that is. It's called Missing You. Sonny Eugene on lead. And tinkling on the piano is Al Brown. George mentioned that in there. That is him. He's the band leader. Johnny G here spinning original vinyl 45s. We count down the music chronologically here on the 50s and early 60s edition. Next week, the last Saturday of the month, it's my all 60s show. 1964 and later sounds out of my collection. So I give you 50s and early 60s Doo-wop collectors, group harmony collectors a break. We'll return in 2 weeks for more cool sounds out of my collection on original vinyl. But let's continue here with the requests again for Rick in Philly. This gal, she's out of Philadelphia, PA. She was an actress, singer, and songwriter dating back to the 1940s. This appears to be her only release. It came out on the MGM record label. It's with Tico Wilshire and his orchestra. I tell you guys, you're collecting 45s. You want to look for Tico Wilshire. You want to look for Sammy Lowe. You want to look for Leroy Kirkland. Those are the ones you want to look for. There's others, but let's send this one out to Rick in Philly, June 1957. Her name is Wilhelmina Gray. Wilhelmina Gray on MGM. It's called Don't Wake Me Up, parentheses, Let Me Dream.
Don't wake me up, let me dream. Oh, what a wonderful dream. We're in a land of romantic joy. We two alone, and you are all my own. I see the love in your eyes. We're living up in the skies. I'd hate to find things are not what they seem. Don't wake me up, let me dream. I see the love in your eyes. We're living up in the skies. I'd hate to find things are not what they seem. Don't wake me up, let me dream. Don't wake me up, let me dream.
As by request for Rick in Philly, there, Wilhelmina Gray and an uncredited group on the MGM record label June 1957 release. Don't Wake Me Up, parentheses, Let Me Dream is the name of that tune. We continue here with more from the year 1957. Here's a request for Evan Blatt. This group is from the Bronx, New York. After they left Celeste Records, they switched management, joined Sammy Lowe and Otis Pollard, who were doing A&R work for Candlelight Records, and they ended up recording 2 singles for the Candlelight record label. This was their second, with Carl Spencer on lead. This is a request for Evan from March of 1957. Give a listen to the Mellows. Carl Spencer with the Mellows on Candlelight. It's called Farewell, Farewell.
Farewell, farewell. I know I've done you wrong. Farewell. Don't be gone for long. Didn't mean to make you cry, dear. Don't let this be goodbye. Farewell. Farewell, the dreams I've made had died. Farewell, once forget your pride. You're my life, my love, my everything. You have made my poor heart sing. Oh, darling, please listen to my plea. Tell me that you will stay. I want you, I need you, I love you. Don't go away, oh, darling. Farewell, farewell, just for tonight. Farewell, two wrongs don't make one right. Come back and forgive me. I'll be all you want of me. I'll be all you want of me.
Whoops, that's Lillian Leach at the end there. Those are the mellows there. Really, Lillian Leach in the mellows, but that featured Carl Spencer on lead there. By request for Evan Blatt, the mellows there, March 1957 on the Candlelight record label. Farewell, farewell. No, it's not farewell, not till at least 1 a.m. in the morning. I got a bunch of requests I need to get through tonight, so let's continue here. And here is one as we continue with the requests, this time for Joe Shacatano. This is on the I think it's Myra, M-I-R-A, the Myra label, which is out of New York City. I thought this was out of Philadelphia, but no, only because I bought it from somebody in Philadelphia, found a couple copies. But the group is called the Four Trumps, and they are doing a cover song. This was first done by a group called the Jubilaires on the King label back in 1947, but we move up 11 years to 1958, but it sounds earlier than that. It doesn't sound like a 1958 sound, but according to Ferdy Gonzalez's disco file, that he says this one came out in March of 1958. So by request for Joe Shacatano, give a listen to the Four Trumps on the Myra label. It's called I've Waited All My Life for You.
All my life for you. All my life for you. Cross my heart and swear it's true. Oh, it's true. And I start my love away to give to you today. To give to you today. I've waited all my life for you. All my life for you. Dreamed of all the things we do. Wondered where, when, and how. But I have found you now. Oh yeah. You are more wonderful than all my dreams. I never felt like this before. Oh, and your sweetness I adore. I'll always love you more and more. I've waited all my life for you. So glad I waited for you. Now my lonely days are through. If you say you're happy too, darling, that's why I've waited for you.
As by request for Joe Shacatano there, the Four Trumps, March 1958, a Stoneman copy. That record plays without a blemish. I am happy for that, that's for sure. The Four Trumps there on the Myra label. I've waited all my life for you is the name of that tune. We continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. And back to Philadelphia, PA, with a request for Evan, a rare 45, by the way, on the Rulu, R-U-L-U label. And this group is called the Vernals, V-E-R-N-A-L-L-S. I like both sides of this 45 too, but Evan requested the B-side of the record, which is an up-tempo. From June of 1958, the Vernals, going out to Evan on Rulu. It's called Why Can't You Be True? As going out to Evan Blatt there, the Vernals. Vernals from June of 1958, a great record out of Philadelphia, great two-sided record on the Rulu label. Why Can't You Be True is the name of that one. Now, in 1961, the group would record again. They slightly changed their name, because this was the Vernals, V-E-R-N-A-L-L-S. They became the Varnells, V-A-R-N-E-L-L-S, with two releases on the Arnold label. Day in Court was one of the songs, and I think Who Created Love, I think, was the other one, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We continue here. Hope you're digging on the tunes. We are in the year 1958, and on last week's show, I played a request for Daniel Kubacki. He requested D. Clark, his first solo release on the Falcon label from June of 57. It was called Gloria. Actually, it was really the Cool Gents on that. And then Daniel requested his fourth now. This is the fourth of 8 releases for D. Clark on the Falcon / Abner label. Abner, I think, switched. Falcon became Abner in 1958 with Falcon 1013, which was Jerry Butler and the Impressions for Your Precious Love. That was a switch over. So you can get that record both on Falcon and Abner. But this is Abner 1019, written by D. Clark, by request for Daniel, November 1958. D. Clark on Abner. It's called When I Call on You.
When the stars shine at night, I see your face in their flickering light. When I hear your voice like the breeze in the trees, that's when I'll call on you. And when the moon fades away out of sight, and the breeze seems to whisper to me that you are my only light, that's when I'll call on you. That's when I'll call on you. That's when I'll call on you. When I'm wondering if you're thinking of me too, that's when I'll call on you.
It's a grainy press. You can find a lot of those, a lot of the Falcon Abner presses are grainy. They use recycled vinyl. Unfortunately, it would sound like that, that's for sure. D. Clark, by request for Daniel Kubacki, November 1958 on the Abner label. That is his fourth of 8 releases on Falcon Abner. When I Call on You is the name of the tune. We continue here. Up next, a request from my number one California listener, Mady Campboy. She requested an unreleased song. This never came out originally back in the 50s on a 45, and the group is out of New Haven, Connecticut. Now, they're called the Five Satins on this, but I think they might have been the Scarlets, if I'm not mistaken. It sounds like it. If you listen closely, you'll hear back. I mean, a Stone Mint copy of this, and this is available on eBay. You can get it fairly cheap, by the way. But sounds to me like this is an acetate, and maybe, excuse me, maybe at the time they were recording for Red Robin Records. I don't know, but it definitely is Fred Paris on lead, and he also wrote the song. Now, I couldn't find any other information in the Connecticut book. Paul Edward Benziker. He put out that Connecticut book. I bought both volumes of that book. I didn't find anything in there, but it sounds like this should be on a Red Robin release, but you can be the judge. It's going out to Matey Campoy, 1956, 57, 58, I don't know. The 5 Satins, it says on the label, it's on the standard label, it's on blue vinyl. It's called Baby Face. Sounds like Dear One to me, but that's by request from Matey Campoy there. Says the 5 Satins, 57 maybe, but I think it's off of an acetate. Sounds like an acetate to me. That's Fred Paris on lead in the 5 Satins on the standard record label. It's called Babyface. Comes on blue vinyl. You can get this Craig Moyer on eBay if you want to buy the record. He has it fairly cheap. There's some people selling it for $10. You can get it even for less than that. So I suggested it's definitely worth $10 or less. I think he's got it for less. So you can check it out there. Tell him I sent you. Anyway, Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We continue here. Here's a bonus request for Rick in Philly. You're not going to believe this, Rick, because I was looking all over for this record. I was up in the wee hours looking for the record. It was in my filed box, but filed in the wrong place. I was looking for that Tiny Bradshaw 45. So I'm looking in Bradshaw and I go, what is this? What is this record doing here? This is this Bradley record. What is this doing here? I'm telling you, it was like I was so relieved that I found the record. But anyway, it's a request for Rick in Philly. He wanted to hear Mamie Bradley. This is on Juggy Murray's Sue record label out of New York City. It's with the Andy Gibson's Orchestra. I think this is her debut single, and I think she has another one on the Chess label. We're going to send this one out to Rick. January 58, Mamie Bradley on Sue. It's called I Feel Like a Million.
Ooh, I'm in love, I'm in love. I'm in love. I feel like a million when you hold my hand. I feel like a million 'cause you understand. I feel like a million every
As by request for Rick in Philly there, Mamie Bradley and a group, I bet you $1 that those are the Matadors backing her up. This is Sue number 702, the Matadors 700, 701, or maybe 700. I don't know who 701 is, but I bet you that's the Matadors. It's gotta be. But as Mamie Bradley going out to Rick in Philly, January 58 release, I Feel Like a Million. I do when I play my 45s. It's really therapy for me. It was so many awful things going on, and we lost 8 more family members this week. It was terrible yesterday. It was my mother's cousin passed away, but not from COVID, but maybe, I don't know, but it was terrible. It's been awful here, but this music is kind of therapy. Hope you're getting therapy on a Saturday evening from 10 to midnight. Let's continue here. We are in the year 1958. Here's a request for Joe Shacatano. This group is out of New York. They have this lone release on the Apt record label. This record, Apt Records or ABC Paramount Records, purchased this master from Ed Portnoy in 1958, and this group, the song was written by Floyd S. Thomas, and he's also the lead singer on this. This one from May of 1958, going out to Joe Shacatano. They're called the Stereophonics. The Stereophonics on the Apt label. It's called No More Heartaches.
Want no more heartache, want no more tears, want no more promises, want no more fears. I only want a love that's good for me. Much faith in you, but you let me down. I loved you with all my heart, knowing I was the talk of the town. Oh no, want no more heartache, want no more fears, want no more promises, want no more fears. I only want a love that's good for me. I only want a love that's good for me. So
As by request for Joe Shacatano there, those are the Stereophonics. May 1958 release on the Apt record label. Actually, Apt Records, a subsidiary of ABC Paramount Records. No More Heartaches is the name of the tune. Then in 1959, this group changed their name to the Cordells and had one release on the Jarrow International label. I have that 45. I got to go listen to it, how that one sounds as we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. I love this next record, I really do, and it's a request for listener Nat Papagallo listening down in Naples, Florida. We go to Danny Robinson's Vest record label out of New York City, and did Did you know that Danny Robinson named this label Vest after his wife? Her name was Vesta. So he said, well, I'm going to name a label after you. I'm going to call it the Vest label. And I often wonder if this group was named after that Japanese movie. Do you remember a movie called Rodan? From what year was that What year was that movie? Was it like late 58 or early 59 or sometime in 58? I don't know, but there was a movie called Rodan. This group is called the Rodans. So I don't know. Maybe they are. What is a Rodan anyway? But anyway, by request for Nat Papagallo, late 1958. These are the Rodans on Vest, and they are so right with this title. It's called Time is Passing.
Passing, passing, passing.
Time is passing, and darling, I'm blue. I'm all alone without you. Without you, darling, I want you, I need you. Time is passing, time is moving on. Darling, darling, why did we part? I miss your love. It hurts my heart, it hurts my heart. I want
by request for Nat Papagallo there. That's a cool tune. The Rodans. The Rodans there, late 58. Johnny G can't see. You know, I'm mixing my 6s and 8s. I got to go get my eyes checked. Actually, I have to use it. I have like that pre-medical account that you can take out money pre-tax and pay like your co-pays and whatnot, but I have to use it by March 31st. So anyway, I see these 6s look like 8s. But those are the Rodans on the Vest record label. Time is Passing is the name of that one. I'm a little jealous of a young 78 collector, Braden McCallow. He has that on a 78. That's pretty cool to have that record on a 78. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We continue here. We are moving into 1959 now for a request for Rick in Philly. You all know this artist here, Mr. Chuck Berry. Don't feature Chuck a lot here on the Group Harmony program, but there were a few of his records or a few of his sides that he had group backing, and the group that would back him up were the Ecuadors. The Ecuadors, they have a release on their own on I think it's on Argo. Great record. I don't know the name of the song, but I'll play it on one of the Vinyl Treasure shows coming up. But anyway, this is from September of 59. Rick requested this one. This charted number 21 on KONO out of San Antonio, Texas. This is on the Chess record label. The group, you'll hear the group on this. The Ecuador's backing them up. So going out to Rick in Philly, September 59, Chuck Berry and the uncredited Ecuadors backing them up on Chess. It's called Childhood Sweethearts.
broke my mother's rule. Yet he was only 16, so young but yet so fine. Yet he was only 16, so young but yet so fine. You said when you would finish school, you'd let me take and make you mine. Oh yeah! Child. You were my childhood sweetheart. Love you now as I love you then. You were my childhood sweetheart. I love you now as I love you then. And when I lay me down in twilight, I'll go to sleep and dream again.
As by request for Rick and Philly there, Chuck Berry and a group, the Ecuadors, they're backing them up their September 59 release on the Chess label, Childhood Sweetheart. That was his 19th release, believe it or not, on the Chess record label, a song that he wrote. And we lost Chuck. He passed away March 18th of 2017 at age 90. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue here. And we go to Brooklyn, New York for this next request for listener Cheryl Morgan. And they started on Capitol Records in 1958. I'm sure many of you know their debut single. It was called Chapel Bells. Lead singer on that was Tony Pasalacqua, and he wrote this tune here. But this was never released. Capitol never released this record for some reason. Don't know why. They recorded this one on June 9th of 1959, and it came out in 1995 on the Park Avenue label. You can, I think you can buy this one on eBay. Also, it's available. So, by request for Cheryl Morgan, June 1959 release for the Fascinators, Tony Pasalacqua on lead. Capitol did not release this song. It's called Teenage Wedding.
Hardly believe it was me. Whoa,
for that teenage wedding was mine.
As by request for Cheryl Morgan there, that's an unreleased cut by the Fascinators. Tony Passalacqua and the Fascinators there would have come out on the Capitol label, but did not. In 1995, it was put out by Park Avenue Records. It's on blue vinyl. Looks pretty cool. These that's what they used to do. Well, that's what they're doing when they release these records on 45. Excuse me, to play. June 59 release, The Fascinators with Teenage Wedding. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the tunes. If you like the show, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell to get all notifications so you'll know when I'm on live. And maybe now my weeks will die. Still got some projects to do, but hopefully my weeks will die down so I'll be able to play some afternoon shows. We'll see how that goes, but let's continue here. And here's a 45 I found at one of the Allentown, PA shows I attended. I think I bought this from Ralph Barton. He used to come up from Atlanta, Georgia, and he sold me this. It's out of he unfortunately passed away a few years ago, but this is out of the library of WEUP, which is a station out of Huntsville, Alabama. But the label is out of Endicott, New York, and the group is from Brentwood, New York, and it features Alex Fermaint on lead. So we're going to send this one out to Nat. He actually has this record in his jukebox. I don't think I would put my rare 45s in my jukebox, only because I've had records that I've purchased from jukeboxes, maybe in the 50s, that have a lot of jukeware. You know what jukeware is. But anyway, this is going out to Nat, August 1959. They're called the Tender Tones. Tender Tones on Ducky. The side is called, that he requested, is called I Love You So. August 59 release there for Nat Papagallo, the Tender Tones. Alex Fermaint on lead there. It's on the Ducky label, Ducky Records out of Endicott, New York. I Love You So is the name of the tune. I don't know if that was the A-side, But just for excuse me, just for a little while is the ballad that normally gets played. I know he likes that record too because that's in his jukebox. He's got my label's kind of messed up. He's got a nice looking label. He sent me a scan of his copy, original copy too. He should get the boot to play in his jukebox. Anyway, Johnny G, here we are in the year 1959. Here, got a couple more to go, but back to Brooklyn, New York we go for. Actually, last week, I played a request for Matey Campoy, this group out of Brooklyn, New York. They were called the Van Dykes, and they had a lot of cool releases. I like the sound of the Van Dykes. They were first known as the Temptations on the King label. Standing Alone was their record. Then they followed it up with other releases on King as the Van Dykes, I think 2 more. But this one I played for Matey was on the Spring label. It was called Gift of Love, and featured Mike Cruz on lead. He's also doing lead on the flip side, and the flip was requested by Darrell Letts. Let's go to August of 1959 for the Van Dykes with Mike Cruz on lead on the Spring label. It's called Guardian Angel.
They say if you lose your sweetheart and it's her you keep thinking of, just pray to the guardian angel, the guardian angel of love. I have lost my sweetheart. Everything I've done was wrong. I'll keep praying to the angel until she's back in my arms. I'll keep praying to the angel, and I know she'll come back someday, 'cause I believe in the angel, and it's all I can think on. Someday I can get the angel, the guardian angel of love.
B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. That one there for Darrell Letts. The Van Dykes. Van Dykes, August 59 on the original label Spring Records. It would be re-released in 1960 on the Donna label, which is much cheaper, by the way. But that's the Van Dykes with Mike Cruz on lead. It's called Guardian Angel. We continue here, and 2 more in the year 1959. And here's a request for Evan Blatt, this girl group out of Chicago, Illinois. They had 2 releases on Sid Nathan's Federal label. And this was their first, written by the lead singer. Her name is it's easier for me to see it on the label Piscotti. Her name is Connie Piscotti. I kind of wrote it phonetically here. I should be able to pronounce Italian names easily, but the lead singer here, her name is Connie Piscotti. Piscio. It's actually Cho. Cio is pronounced Cho in Italian, but it's Pisciotti. So this one's from February 59. The group is called the L Deans. EL space DEENS. It's on Federal Records by request for Evan. It's called My Love for You. That's the first of two by request for Evan Blatt, the L. Deans. February 1959. This group is out of Chicago, Illinois, recorded for Sid Nathan's Federal record label. My Love for You is the name of that one. The lead singer there, Connie Piscotti, unfortunately she passed away April of 2014. But we remember her here on the Vinyl Treasure shows. We continue here. Last record out of the 50s here, 1959. This is actually a B-side. I'm sure many of you own this 45 when it, or you maybe bought it when it came out back in January of 1959. But the A-side of this was the group's biggest hit. This group from Brooklyn, New York. The song was called Sorry I Ran All the Way Home. You know that record. That was a big hit. Dick Clark, I think, helped to make that one a big hit. But Nat Papagallo from Florida requested the B-side. I think Joe Shacatano also likes the flip side on this. Features Joe Speedo Frazier on lead. Now, the A-side was a big hit for them, a number 2 Billboard and Cashbox hit, but not the flip. Let's give it a spin here. Their first of 4 on Cub. These are the Impalas, going out to Nat, January 59. It's called Fool, Fool, Fool. B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show by request for Nat Papagallo, the Impalas there. That's a pretty nice side, nice ballad there with Joe Speedo Frazier on lead, January 59. That's the B-side of their big hit, I Ran All the Way Home. It's called Fool, Fool, Fool. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We move on here. Move into 1960 with actually last week I played a request for Joe Shacatano. He requested J.D. Bryant and the Magic Knights. That was on the CJ record label. The side I played was called Searching for Tomorrow, and listener Daryl Letts asked if I could play the flip side, and we're going to do it right now for Daryl. This one from April 1960. It's J.D. Bryant and the Magic Knights. You flip over Searching for Tomorrow on the CJ record label, you get their tune called I Need Someone for Daryl.
I need someone just to hold me tight, take me by the hand and say everything's alright. I need someone. I need someone. I need someone. Oh, I need someone like you too. I need someone who's loving and true. Never, never more will I be blue. I need someone. Just hold me tight, take me by the hand and say everything's alright. I need someone. I need someone. I need someone. Oh, I need someone like you. Baby, 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 you. Holy mackerel, baby, you. Don't need to do. Say you need me too.
As by request for Daryl Letts there, J.D. Bryant and the Magic Knights, I Need Someone. That one there on the CJ record label out of New York City, April 1960 release. And let's continue here. And we have another one here, actually a pretty rare 45. This is an ultra rare record out of California. This is by request for listener Stephen Kahn. And this is on a label called Magnificent Records. And I have a number of releases on the Magnificent label, two by a group called the Arabians and one other, but this is the first record on the label. This is Magnificent number 100. It's by a gal, her name is Little Rita, and she gets writer credit on this as Little Rita. The other writer is someone by the name of Cleet Moore, and it says on here, accompanied by the California Slim Band with the K-Tills, K-A-T-I-L-L-S. But this is a rare 45 going out to Stephen Kahn from 1960. Let's give it a whirl. Little Rita on Magnificent. It's called Dear Love.
Your
As by request for Stephen Kahn, their Rare 45 by Little Rita 1960, and some little girls backing her up on that one. On the Magnificent record label, it's called Dear Love, very expensive 45. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We continue here, and we move into 1961 with a request for Evan Blatt, female lead with male group backing, came out on the AKU, AKU label, and I think the label and the group out of Harlem, New York, they're called the Delmonicos. And the Delmonicos had a release in 1963 called You Can Call. But here they are with an earlier release backing up a female singer by the name of Denise Germain. So by request for Evan here, October 1961, Denise Germain with the Delmonicos on the AKU label. It's called I'm Fed Up.
Well, I'm fed up, yeah, with this setup. Whoa, won't you ever let up? Oh no, I'm getting tired of you. Said you loved me, 'twas no need to lie. You had me wishing I had passed you by. Never seen love light in your eyes. Now it's time we both are set up, fed up. I will, I'm fed up. Yes, I am with this whole setup. Don't you know, won't you ever let up? Oh no, I'm getting tired of you. You said you loved me, 'twas no need to lie. You had me wishing I had passed you by. Never seen love light in your eyes. Now it's time we both are said I gotta buy. Well, I'm fed up. Yes, I am with this whole setup. Whoa, won't you ever let up? Oh no, I'm getting tired of you. Whoa, well, I'm fed up. Yeah. This whole setup, don't you know, won't you ever let up? Oh no, I'm getting tired of you. La 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 la, well, I'm fed up. Yeah, with this whole setup, baby, don't you know, won't you ever let up?
As by request for Evan Blatt there, Denise Germain with the Delmonicos on the AKU record label, October 1961 release. It's called I'm Fed Up. That's the name of that tune. Anyway, Johnny G here on a Saturday night. Hope you're digging on the cool tunes here. And this was really a bad week. There were a lot of people that passed away from COVID-19, one of them being Phil Spector. Phil Spector passed away, and he produced a lot of records. Of course, a lot of those Phyllis groups, the Ronettes, the Crystals, the Righteous Brothers, Darlene Love, all those groups on Phyllis. But he also recorded it with the Teddy Bears, and he produced a lot of records, wrote and produced a lot of records, and I wanted to at least pay tribute one record that he did, which was a big hit on the Dunes record label. It was the biggest hit for singer Curtis Lee, a singer out of Yuma, Arizona. You know the song. It was called Pretty Little Angel Eyes, and the group backing him up on that were the Halos, which were the Halos, which included, or they were really guys coming in and out of the group, but they were mainly Carl Spencer, Bobby Spencer, J.R. Bailey, and Gary Morrison. I think they were basically the Halos. But anyway, the flip side of Pretty Little Angel Eyes, a tune written by Tommy Boyce, a great ballad. and great group backing. So I figured that we'll pay tribute to Phil Spector with this sound, this record here. This was a 45 my aunt bought, by the way, back in the summer or the late spring of 1961. I remember her playing Pretty Little Angel Eyes for me. I used to like to watch that genie spin on the turntable. She also played the flip side. So as we remember Phil Spector, June 1961, Curtis Lee and the Uncredited Halos backing him up on this on the Dunes label. It's called Gee, How I Wish You Were Here.
How I wish you were here tonight to love me and how I miss you tonight. I need you here beside me to hold me and love me. Oh, gee, how I wish you were here. Wish you were here. And oh, I'm so lonesome tonight. I can't stop thinking of you. You're my every dream come true. What would I do without you to hold me and love me? Oh, gee, how I wish you were here. If you would only call just to say hello, how happy I would be. Just to hear your voice saying I love you would mean so much to me. How I wish you were here tonight to love me and how I miss you tonight. I need you here beside me to hold me and love me. Oh, gee, how I wish you were here. Oh, wish you were.
B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasures shows. We pay tribute to the late Phil Spector, and kind of lost his mind there a little later on in his career there, but really left us with some great music. Like that one there, Curtis Lee and the Halos, June 1961. That is a B-side to Pretty Little Angel Eyes. It's called Gee, How I Wish You Were Here on Ray Peterson and Mort Schulman's Dunes label out of New York there. The Halos also included Arthur Cryer. Thank you for mentioning that, George. But they backed up quite a few acts in the early 1960s, like Barry Mann, Benny King, Connie Francis, Tommy Hunt, Bobby Vinton, the Coasters, Brian Hyland, Johnny Nash, Dion, Little Eva, Gene Pitney. They do the flip of every Every Little Breath I Take. That's another great song. Shirley and Lee, Johnny Mathis, and so many others. Great vocals by the Halos on that 45. Johnny G here for Saturday evening. Let's continue here in 1961. Last week I played a request for Matey Campboy. She requested the Shells on the Johnson label from September 61 called Baby Walk On In, and it was listener Darrell Letts asked Johnny G to flip the 45 over, and the Shells covering a Cress tune. The Cress first did this on the Joyce label back in 1957. We move up to September 61, going out to Darrell Letts, the Shells on Johnson with their rendition of the tune Sweetest One. Cover tunes here on the Vinyl Treasure Show by request for Darrell Letts. That's a B-side there by the Shells, Sweetest One. The A-side called Baby Walk On In on Johnson Records, September 1961. Let's continue here. We move into 1962 with a request from my number one California listener, Matey Campboy, as we head to Brooklyn, New York for this duo. They had 4 releases on the Big Top label between 1961 and 63. In their biggest hit, you know their biggest hit, it was called What's Your Name? Came out in 1961. This was their second biggest hit, if you want to call it a biggest hit. This charted number 91 on the Billboard Hot 100, but it was a number 15 record on WBUT in Butler, Pennsylvania, and it's a duo. Their names are Roland Trone and Claude Johnson. Now, Claude Johnson, he was a member of the Genies who recorded Who's That Knockin' on the Shad record label. But by request for Matey, it's Don and Juan. Don was Roland Trone and Juan was Claude Johnson. This one from September 62 on the Big Top record label, going out to Matey. It's called Magic Wand.
I wish I had a magic wand. I would touch your arms so they could hold me. Fairy tales don't come true.
by request from Matey Campboy, Mr. Don and Juan, September 62 on the Big Top record label Magic Juan. They do nice tunes, the Don and Juan. It was Bucky mentioned it in the chat room. The other one that they did, I lost. What was it? I forget the name of the tune, but anyway, Johnny G losing his mind. Let's continue here. Let's go back to the requests now. Well, here's one for Joe Shacatano. This group is out of Columbus, Ohio. They initially recorded as the Cordials on the Cordial label in 1960. I have that record, by the way. But then they changed their name to the Carians, Carians, and they had two releases on Jim Lee's. He owned two labels, the Indigo label and the Magenta label, and out of Hollywood, California. Now, Joe requested the release on Magenta. This one came out in June of 1961, and it was written by the lead singer. His name is Ronald Reiser, R-E-I-S-E-R. Ronald Reiser on lead. This one from June 61, the Carians on Magenta, going out to Joe. It's called Only a Dream. Those are the Carians there, June 61 by request for Joe on the Magenta label. Only a Dream is the name of that tune. We continue with the requests here. Here's a request for listener Matey Campboy. She requested The Channels, spelled Channells, spelled differently than Earl Lewis's group, but one member of this group was an original member of Earl Lewis's Channels, and it's the first tenor of the group. His name is Larry Hampton. Larry Hampton, he was an original Channel. The other members were Gene Williams, he was second tenor, Revo Hodge was the bass, and the lead singer of this group is Tony Williams, not to be confused with Tony Williams of the Platters. Now, Matey requested their release that came out on the Hit label, HIT Records, which is out of Elizabeth, New Jersey, and they do try to sound like the Earl Lewis Channels, but by request for Matey Campboy, we go back to January 1963, The Channels on the Hit label. It's called You Hurt Me, parentheses, Over Again. As by request from Eddie Campoy, they're sounding like Earl Lewis's Channels, but they're not. But they tried to. January 1963, the Channels on the hit record label You Hurt Me, parentheses, Over Again is the name of that one. That's January 63. Let's move back to 62 now. This is a request for Evan as we go back to New York City to Danny Robinson's Everlast record label for this one. Lots of controversy on the release date for this 45, as some have this release dated in 58, others have it in 62, but I think Danny Robinson stopped the label for a while, then he resurrected it again, and because the print on these latter 60s presses, they're different, they're much bigger, and this is Everlast 5013, but this is, I say it's from 62. They're called the Extremes on the Everlast record label. Very interesting title. I don't know if they did this a lot in the 1950s and early 60s. Were people eloping a lot back then? I don't know, but people are just not getting married anymore. They're just hooking up. But anyway, this is by request for Evan, the Extremes on Everlast. It's called Let's Elope.
Let's elope tonight. Yes, this very night, when the stars are aligned and the moon is bright, for the angels must agree you are meant for me. So let's elope, please elope, let's elope tonight. Let's elope, my dear, upon my love I swear. If you do this thing, I'll give you a wedding ring, and I'll take you for my wife, love you the rest of my life. So let's elope, please elope, let's elope tonight. Climb the ladder about 12 o'clock. Knock on your window. One thing we have
As by request for Evan Blatt there, the Extremes. I think they're trying to sound like Vito Pacone and the Elegance a little bit there. 1962 release on the Everlast record label, Let's Elope. I asked Barbara if she wanted to elope. She said, "What are you, crazy? I'm not eloping." Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue here, as we wind down here. And I love this next song here from 1961. It's a request for Nat Papagallo. According to Louis Silvani, this group is out of the state of Oklahoma. And they have this lone release that came out on the Norman label. Norman Records is out of St. Louis, Missouri. And they're called the Top Hits. But this is the intended B-side. This is side 2 of the record. Going out to Nat Papagallo, April 61 release. The Top Hit. No, yeah, I didn't say top notes. Top Hits. The Top Hits on the Norman label from April 61. It's called Love No One.
Love no one, love no one.
I love no one, love no one but you. What else can I do? I love no one but you.
Love no one, love no one.
I'll walk the streets, gaze at every girl I meet, wondering if it's you I see. I love no one but you.
Love no one, love no one.
Here I stand, my heart in my hand. I'm pleading for your love. Where can I go? What can I do? I'll walk the street, gaze at every girl I meet, wondering if it's you I see. I love no one but you. Oh, 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 oh,
That's by request for Nat Papagallo, the Top Hits. Wait a minute, did the Monarchs do that also? I gotta think. Anyway, George, you're making me think. Now, April 61, the Top Hits on the Norman record label. Love No One is the name of that one. Let's stay in the year 1961 with a request for George Tompkins. This vocal group is out of Campbell, Ohio. They're called the Etzels, of course, named after the car that bombed. I never was in an Etzel. How did they run? Were they smooth riding like the Cadillacs? I don't think there's any other ride as a Cadillac. I have the Cadillac DTS. And I don't know if I haven't been using it much, haven't been using the car much, but I would have liked to have an Etzel back in 1958. But anyway, this is a flip side to My Whispering Heart, a cool up tempo. This is a nice ballad written by the bass of the group. His name is Marshall Sewell, Marshall Sewell, but it features George Jones Jr. on lead. We'll send this one out to George Tompkins, December 61, the Etzels on the Dot Records. Yes, Fred, Could It Be is the name of the tune.
Why don't I feel it when you hold me tight? Why don't I chill when you kiss me goodnight? Could it be that your love is not really real? Why don't I believe it when you say you'll be mine? Why do I feel that you are handing me a line? Could it be that your love is not really real? Why is it that I feel that you're leading my heart astray? Why is it that I don't believe a word you say? Why is it that I feel that you're leading my heart astray? Why is it that I don't believe a word you say? If I could only put my trust in you, I know I would feel the way I do. Answer me, could it be that your love is not really real? Is your love
That's going out to George Tompkins there. Those are the Etzels with a B-side there. George Jones Jr. on lead, December 1961 on the Dot label. It's called Could It Be? Got a few more records to go. Requests to get in here before Johnny G signs off. Here's a request for Matey Campboy. This group is out of East LA, and they have this is their second release on the Dottie record label. Actually, this is a cover song. I think this was first done by Lenny Welch. Lenny Welch recorded this song in January 1960 on the Cadence label. So this is by request for Matey Campboy. She requested the Amber Tones. The Amber Tones on the Dottie label from October 1965. Features Charlie Munoz on lead. The song, they're doing a rendition of the Lenny Welch tune. It's called I Need Someone.
I need someone to hold me tight, someone to squeeze me real tight. Darling, can that someone
That's by request for Matey Campoy there. Group called the Amber Tones. Amber Tones on the Dottie record label. October 65 release there. They're doing a cover of the Lenny Welch release from January 1960 on the Cadence label. I Need Someone featured Charlie Munoz on lead. The Midnighters also cover that record, by the way. I have to check to see if I have that 45. But anyway, that's going to do it for Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasure Show. I want to thank you for joining Johnny G, listening to original vinyl 45s out of my collection. You want to get in touch with me, send me your requests, talk about the show. It's Vinyltreasures at AOL.com. You can request, you can chat. I talk with a lot of the listeners during the week while I'm working on my on my computer down in the den. I have the TV on or I have the radio on and I'm doing my work, but I hear these bings on my phone, so I communicate with a lot of the listeners sending me emails. So you can send me an email. If I'm busy, I won't be able to answer it, but I usually do. Sometimes it takes me a while, but I do. But also, you can go to my website, vinyltreasures.net. You can stream or download the show there. Or you can go to my YouTube page, Johnny G's Vinyl Treasure Show. Be sure to subscribe, like the video tonight, because that kind of popularizes my show. And subscribe to the show and click that bell to get all preferences. There's like 3 selections there where you can get no preferences, some, or all. You should do that in case I go live. I don't really post a lot of videos except this one that'll post up there. But anyway, that's going to do it for tonight. And we're going to close the show tonight with a request for my number 1 California listener, Matey Campoy. She requested this girl group from Washington, D.C. They first recorded as the Impalas on the Checker label in 1961. That's a rare 45, which I do have in the box behind me. But then they changed their name to the 4 Jewels and recorded on the Start label. I think Matey requested one of those not too long ago. Then in 1963, they changed their name just to the in 64 they changed their name from the 4 Jewels just to the Jewels, and they had this release on Don Kirshner's Dimension label out of New York City. This was a number 64 Billboard hit, and it was a number 2 record out on KRLA out in Los Angeles, California. And it features Sandra Peoples. She's on lead here. So by request for Matey Campoy, these are the Jewels from July 1964 on Dimension. It's called Opportunity. So that's Johnny G's opportunity to spin my original 45s for you every Saturday from 10 to 1 a.m. here on Top Shelf Oldies. That's going to do it, folks. Thank you so much. Please tune into my buddy Dave the Rave and his Relics and Rarities show. It all begins tomorrow evening starting at 9 o'clock here on Top Shelf Oldies, 9 to midnight for Dave the Rave, and all the shows during the week on Top Shelf Oldies. You want to tune in beginning at 8 p.m. On Top Shelf Oldies. We have disc jockeys every day of the week. I follow Clark on Saturday beginning at 10 o'clock. I'll be here next Saturday with my All 60s show. So you're looking for Doo-wop and group harmony, you won't get that. Next week, I'm probably going to be leaning soul records next week. That's going to be it. Thank you so much again. Thank you, Charlene, for all your help. I want everybody to be safe out there. Have a safe and happy week. I'll see some of you in 2 weeks, some of you next week. Just want to say, everybody, so long.
I wanna tell a story about a
Okay, folks, thank you so much for sticking around. Byron, I won't work too hard next week. Let me show you the last two records here. I'm going to have to start looking for 60s records for next week. But here's these last two. Matey requested this, the Amber Tones, I Need Someone, out of California. They have other records too, by the way. It's on the Dottie label, and that's a kind of a soulful sound by the Jewels, who were the Four Jewels, who were the Impalas. That's a rare 45 on the Checker label that they do. I'll have to pull that out to play one night. But this is the Painted On label. You see, record companies were trying to cut corners to find the cheapest. You don't have to print paper. It's cheaper just, hey, let's just press the ink on the vinyl, and let's just blow air in the vinyl to make this nice cheap styrene that wears out pretty quick so they can go out and buy the record again. But little did they know the records were really not available easily. I mean, they're available now, they're not even available now. But this is a nice copy anyway. There you go. Hey, ouch. Okay, Byron, thank you for tuning in. And thank you all. Please subscribe. You have to like my video, and you have to subscribe. And I'm going to be working with Rick to try to broaden out the Rick and Phillies. I'm going to work on a promo for Rick, and he's going to try to help me to expand the show out a little bit more, because I've been picking up a lot of subscribers lately. So the show is actually growing in leaps and bounds. I'm going to have to do like all request shows. Well, because I'm kind of basing the show on requests, so I'm trying to take, between no more than 5 requests but I'm getting a lot more now, so I'm kind of spreading it out. So you may not hear your request on this night, but you may hear it on another night, or I couldn't find it or something like that. But anyway, I tried to please, and there have been great requests, I have to say, a lot of great records that you guys are requesting. So thank you so much again. So you should subscribe to my show, my station, and you should send me an email, vinyltreasures@aol.com, and I'll be back in 2 weeks for more group harmony and doo-wop, and I'll be here next week for some cool 60s sound, mid-60s sounds out of my collection. Thanks again, Charlene, for putting up with me. Thank you so much. It was a difficult week, but now should be easier. So take care, everybody. Going to say goodnight now. So long. Bye-bye, guys.